Will you listen for 5 minutes?
No, I was still thinking about my letter.
I know. Listen.
Actually,
we're having a conversation here.
I was actually thinking about Jaeger.
We're supposed to be living in a society. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 7 of Unrenowned, the podcast where we talk about Siege.
Things we like about Siege.
Things we don't like about Siege. I am your host, Ryan. This is my co-host,
Chris.
We got a great show for you guys this week. We are going to talk about the latest patch that just came out. And then we discovered something kind of cool, maybe, on the Rainbow Six website called the Operator Recommendation Tool. So we're going to check that out live on the podcast. Then we're going to try a new segment called Operator Spotlight, where we highlight 2 operators and just kind of go through what we think about them, how well they're balanced, what kind of like the best ways to use them are, and that kind of stuff. We think that'll be fun and maybe informative and, I don't know, good.
I'm excited to see. I wanted to take it earlier, but Ryan insisted that we wait.
Did I?
Yes.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. I said, let's take it now. He said, no. We'll do it during the podcast. I said,
Oh, the Operator Recommendation Tool.
Oh, yeah. What were you talking about?
I was talking about Spotlight. You should listen more on the podcast.
I'm sorry. I was busy doing other things that are less important.
And then we will go into the classic Reddit posts and listener questions. Shall we start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go.
So actually, first, before we get into patch notes, we had some follow-up on the last episode. So last time we did our operator ideas. So first of all, I did a little poll on Twitter. The favorite operator idea was Oracle.
I did not even know you did that poll.
Well, it was very small, and I got like 4 responses. Of the statistically insignificant sample, the people liked Oracle. And then, one person actually sent in one of their operator ideas. So this is at Will She Kebab. Will She Kebab.
I don't know, will she?
He tweeted us at R6 Unrenowned. What do you think about an operator who could act like Castle, but for the floor? He or she could have like a spray that they put on the floor so it's unbreachable. It acts exactly like a castle barricade in every other way, can be sledged, can be blown up, etc. So they put the spray on the floor and the floor becomes unbreachable. Does that mean...
Oh, okay. So like over the garage and console in the piano room,
yeah,
they put spray on the floor, sledge can't hit. Oh wait, sledge can't hit it.
Well, no, he said it could be sledged and it could be blown up. So I don't think he really means unbreachable. I think he means
shoot through it.
Yeah, I think he means you can't shoot through it.
Okay.
I think it's not useful unless it's like a reinforcement, right?
Yeah.
Because how often are people just shooting blindly through a floor? I guess you wouldn't be able to use a shotgun to open it up. Like it would nerf Buck in a way, or it would counter Buck rather.
Yeah.
But if I mean, otherwise people are just going to put a breach charge on it like they would normally do, right?
Yeah, because it's not even the only people that really do that is Sledge, and then breach charges Ash. I assume Ash would also be able to counter that.
Right.
So I don't really think.
So yeah, I think the only way it would be useful at all is if it was like a reinforcement that you could put on soft floors.
Yeah.
But even that, I think that's pretty situational. I think there would have to be more to it.
I think maybe in like really high level play, that might be more of a thing that's very useful.
Yeah, because there are certain floors. But then at some point, it's like, okay, now you're ruining what makes Siege cool.
Yeah, they can shoot through anything.
Let's just do what we can to undo what makes Siege different from Counter-Strike. So this Siege is just Counter-Strike.
Yeah, seriously. I just saying that made me think of like the old days of Siege where it was just the 10 ops on attack and defense. That was so much fun. It's still fun now, but I just miss where it was
It was
so simple.
a lot simpler, and that was, in a way, it was cool. I've heard before, and I think it'd be cool if they did like a classic mode. I think we brought this up.
Yeah.
Somebody brought up like a classic mode as like a training mode for new players. I don't think it'd be good as a training mode, but I think it'd be cool as a new game mode where it's like classic or...
Yeah, I would do that all the time.
Just like better custom games or custom servers. Like, that'd be cool just to be able to say, okay, here's our server, and we've banned all these ops. And if you want to, like, that's fine. You just choose to play on that server, and, you know, you do your thing. But anyway, so Will Shikabab, I like the idea. I think it needs more development to be good.
Agreed.
Okay, so patch notes. So these are actually the patch notes that we talked about a few weeks ago that were coming onto the TTS, but they are now live. What stands out the most to you?
Well, the thing that stands out the most is they call everything bug fixes.
Yeah, that was interesting.
When a lot of, like, maybe they intended for this stuff to work in this way in the first place, but really it's just patches.
Yeah, just the kind of thing that's like, it's been on their bug list for, I mean, okay, if you don't know anything about software development, let me tell you something. I work in software development. Software, especially big software, like a video game, I guarantee you they have a bug list that's like 1,000 bugs long or longer. Right. And it's just things that they are aware are problems in the game, and it's just prioritized. And I mean, the fact of life is that you only have so many resources, be that time, money, or both, or other resources. And so you just prioritize it and you just start going down the list. And so there's certain things where maybe they have considered this a bug since day one. But I mean, they've been working on hit reg, and they've been working on teleporting through the map, and they've been working, you know, like stuff that's way more important than pistols have their reticle misaligned with the center of the screen while shooting, which is one of their things on here.
And I think we've already talked about the bug list for the Rainbow Six Siege development team is specifically what we had talked about previously as our beta wish list.
Yes.
That they have posted up in their office in every single room and framed.
But seriously, though, they have knocked off more things from our old beta wish list. So the big one, again, we talked about this before, toggle for Montane and Pulse special abilities now, and which is what you're saying. It's interesting that it says it's under the bugs list. It says fixed, no toggle for Montane and Pulse special abilities.
Yeah, and that was something that it was just like it could easily be added, like new feature, player comfortability, whatever they want to call it. The funny thing is, though, so for me, I have that button on one of my mouse buttons, like right next to the left mouse click. Just to the left of that, I've got another mouse button that I use. And so for me, it's not really hard just to hold that button down. It's not like holding the middle mouse button, which is in a different position.
Or holding, what is the default main gadget button? Like
G?
No, G is grenade, secondary gadget.
I think it's middle mouse.
X? I think it's X.
The X?
I think X is the default main. Guys, I don't use default controls.
No, me neither.
But anyway, it's like, it's uncomfortable for your thumb, and also it prevents you from being able to use other keys.
So anyway, I have mine as a button right there, so it's not hard for me to hold it down. I never really had a problem. And so now that it's been toggle, like I'm sitting there holding it down, I let go of it, like expecting for me to pull my gun out as Pulse, and I'm still sitting right there with the thing, like, what the frick is going on? Like, oh, I start tapping it, like, stop.
Yeah.
And I just pull it down and I pull it back up on accident. Like, frick.
Yeah, I haven't actually played either of them since toggle, but I guarantee I will never stop having that problem because I play them so little.
Yeah.
But it's like, but I do play them, and so I'll play them, and every single time I will struggle to be able to do it right.
But I do like it. My only problem still with Montane is when Echo's drone hits Montane, it makes his shield go up, and there's no like real visual cue. Like, you just have to know what happens, honestly, especially because you're all drunk.
You're dazed, yeah. So the other big things, they fixed the deployable shield glitch in front of the windows that would prevent people from being able to vault through the windows. That's awesome.
That deployable shield one's kind of big because people started using that as like a meta in every map in certain locations. Yeah. And it just became like, you just do it.
Which is weird.
Stupid.
Like, I don't know Pro League enough to say this for sure, but I'm pretty sure there have been, like, they've done Pro League tournaments when, like, significant glitches like that existed in the game, and they would just have a rule against it in the Pro League. So I don't understand why, like, if they were looking at that as a bug, as something they were going to fix, I don't understand why they didn't just say in the Pro League, like, hey, this is a rule that you can't do that.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah, so they fixed, actually, there's like a big list of like little fixes on a bunch of maps, which is kind of interesting. Like drone has no collision with the terrace edge on west front yard on consulate. It's like totally random, like little things, but it's cool. It's like I always kind of like these ones because this means like they finally like looked at their bug list and like, all right, we have a bunch of these bugs on here that are not that hard to fix.
Let's just fix a bunch of them.
Yeah, let's take a sprint, right, and let's just knock out a bunch of these bugs, and then people won't have to deal with it anymore.
Yeah,
so that's
which
cool.
is nice. It is sometimes nice. Like I have a list of things on an app called Wonderlist that I have to do for school, and some of them are like harder tasks, but I know they're more prioritized than other ones. So I'll start doing those, and I'll just get sick of like only being able to hit one thing. That I'll just go on my list and be like, okay, these 5 things are super easy, and I'll do them all real quick, and I get to like knock off 5 things. And I'm like, oh, I did so much. When really it's like, no, I didn't. I just feel like I did.
It's great for morale.
I feel great now.
Yeah, it's just great to be able to knock out a bunch of stuff off your list and make your list shorter and just feel like you got a lot done. So cool. Good for Ubisoft.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm excited to see a real, like the next actual patch. Like this is obviously a patch and it's good and everything, but I'm excited for like the next patch,
like a real feature patch. Yeah.
Spawn voting comes back for casual.
Please, spawn votes in casual.
I'm telling you, it's gonna come back. It's like this. It's gonna be under bug fixes and just like general, like spawn voting in casual.
If they called that out as a bug fix, I would be thrilled
so hard.
Do you think it's ever gonna happen though?
I don't know. I feel like it could. Okay, I've seen it more frequently on the sub, like recently. Partly because I post it now that I'm back.
I post it every 7 days.
But I think it's just having more popularity now that people at least want to know where they're going, that I could see it coming up in the future.
It just feels like the current attitude at Ubisoft is that that's not good for casual play, and that like people who are playing casual don't want that much strategy in it. So like I don't think we'll actually see voting come into casual unless there's like some big shift in their mentality, or like a creative director switch, or like something like that, like something big that like shifts up the way they think about it.
I might write a letter to Ubisoft.
Write a letter?
I'm gonna write a letter
to Ubisoft.
And I'm gonna mail it to them.
Okay, and what do you expect to happen because of that?
I'm hoping. So you wrote a letter one time to Activision.
I did.
You sent it by mail, right?
To Infinity Ward. Yeah.
Infinity Ward. So Ryan wrote a letter to Infinity Ward about Call of Duty 4's the problems in it or whatever.
I'm not as proud of it now as I was 10 years ago.
It's pretty good though.
It was a good letter.
It's online. You can find it online in some blog spot.
You actually can find it online.
But anyway, so he did that. He didn't really get any response from Infinity Ward.
No,
but
I got nothing, and it was very upsetting.
Ubisoft is actually really good at responding to people's like comments and things on just the subreddit. And so I wonder if they get a piece of mail. Hey, you never know. I was invited to go to E3 with them, so they might see my name and just think, "Oh, this guy. This is a big target guy."
Okay, wait. Have you ever told the E3 story?
I don't think I have. So So I was invited to go to...
Well, let's take a step back a little bit. So this is back, like, shortly after the game came out. 9 months after... The first E3 after the game came out. The game came out in December. So, yeah, within 6 months.
I think I got this offer in April.
And so the game was small. The subreddit was small. And you were a big figure on the subreddit just because you posted a lot. You were very active. You had a YouTube channel. You'd post videos and stuff like that. So, like, people would recognize who you were on the subreddit.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of somebody who's similar today.
Sausage, he's a little more
He's doing
popular.
Like creative stuff.
Yeah.
Does
so many
Shitpost
names.
Detective still post on there?
No, he doesn't.
So if you remember Shitpost Detective, like Chris was as recognizable of a name on the subreddit as Shitpost Detective was.
Yeah. Oh, I miss that guy.
I know, that guy was awesome.
Good.
Anyway,
really
okay,
good.
so with that context.
Okay, yeah, so there I was. I get this email one day from It's Epi. Maybe it was Electric Panda. No, it's Epi. It's Epi sent me an email.
Was it Live in Pink?
No, it was It's Epi. He sent me an email just about E3, their star crew or something like that, and he said that I was invited to go with them to E3. They would pay for my flight down to LA. They would pay for my hotel and pay for my food. And so basically I just got this free trip to go to LA and to go to E3, all on them. He just wanted to make sure I was 18, like old enough to be able to go.
Yeah.
And I was like,
the whole week of E3 and
freak.
And you were gonna like
I was gonna play for them. It was gonna be on console, but I was gonna play and showcase Rainbow Six Siege for them.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh freak, like that's gonna be cool. Like I knew Icy Cat was gonna be there, like some other
the
people.
Most awesome thing. Yeah,
I was like, heck yeah.
Icy Cat Serenity, I think. Was like so you would have been hanging out with all these guys.
Yeah, like cool people. So E3's date was June 16th. And that's when it started. And I went on the mission for my church on June 1st is when I left for 2 years.
15 days.
I did not have the opportunity to go to E3 paid for by Ubisoft, but that
By
would have been
15 days, he missed like
really cool.
the video game experience of a lifetime.
Yeah.
So sad. So sad. Maybe if this gets big enough, Ubisoft will invite us to something else at some point. Help us get there, guys. Share this podcast with people you know.
Maybe that's what I'll do. All right, I'll say, hey guys, Ubisoft, look, I saved you like $500 by not going to E3. Maybe you can grant me this request on bringing in. I'm completely serious.
I saved you $500, man. Multi-billion dollar company.
Hey, every dollar counts. $500 pays one of their developers for like what, an hour?
Yeah,
that's exactly how I will take him to develop putting spawn voting back in casual.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyway, I actually am going to do that though. It's going on my wonder list of things to do this week. Tuesday.
Good.
Not Tuesday. Tuesday's a busy day.
I'd like to see that letter. We'll read it on the podcast next week.
Send letter to Ubisoft.
He's typing it. You can hear him typing on the microphone. Okay, so another interesting thing about these patch notes, they just have a bunch of fixes for the pick and ban.
I'm serious about this letter, by the way.
I know.
I'm excited.
I know.
Okay.
I'm not as excited, but I think it's going to be funny.
What if I get a response? What if they do it? What if they do it? They bug fixes and put like you're welcome just hello in the bug fix.
They are not going to add casual or add voting to casual because just hello requested it in exchange for not making them spend money on him.
I'm
going to
add like a thank you to the letter too. It's going to be a very nice thank you letter.
I didn't realize you were going to say thank you.
Yeah.
Well, so that changes everything.
You just gotta please your like prey before you.
Your prey?
Yeah, it's a prey. That's what I'm.
You're hunting them?
Kind of.
Are you Jaeger?
No.
Okay. As I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted. Pick and ban. So there's just a bunch of bug fixes on here, which are not like a major at all. But just the fact that they are working on fixing bugs for that makes me think that maybe we're a little bit closer to that actually coming into ranked, which is going to be cool.
In casual.
It's not coming to casual.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Pick and ban.
Oh, pick and ban. Pick and ban. Yes. Sorry.
Will you listen for 5 minutes?
No, I was still thinking about my letter.
I know. Listen.
Actually,
we're having a conversation here.
I was actually thinking about Jaeger.
We're supposed to be living in a society.
So I was wondering, because Jaeger's name is like Hunter in German. So I was wondering, like, why is his name Hunter? What does that mean? I'm thinking, like, oh, he hunts explosives. That's what he does for a living. He sees something, he's explosives!
While Capital yells, fire! Fire! So yeah, if you don't know what pick and ban is, that's where. So right now it's operating in Pro League matches where you take turns. Each team takes turns picking operators. So like attackers will pick one operator, defenders will pick one operator. And you go all the way through until you've picked all 10. Well, the bans happen before that, right? So at the very, very beginning of the match, each team gets to choose to ban one defender and one attacker. Is that how that works? I think so.
Exactly
I think 4 operators are banned. So each team chooses one defender and one attacker to ban. Then you, for each round, you go and you take turns choosing your op. So attackers choose one op, defenders choose one op, and you do that all the way through until you've chosen all 10. And then there's the 6th pick. So at the 6th pick, one person on each team can switch their pick. And so having it operate that way, it gets a little bit more strategic about who you pick to counter who, and trying to kind of get some mind games at the front end of the match. So it sounds really, really cool. Definitely not suited to casual, I don't think, but it'll be cool in ranked. So I'm looking forward to that.
So there's a bunch of bug fixes for charms. Recently, as I'm trying to tell a story, I'm realizing there's more and more to tell. So recently my game wasn't like loading, so I had to verify game files and I had to like reinstall some components of the game for no reason.
It ruined a couple of gaming nights for. Okay, PC gaming, let me interrupt you for a second.
Yeah.
PC gaming is fantastic, and it's like pretty much the best way to game, but also it's the worst way to game. Because when you log on to Xbox to play with your friends, so you're going to play Halo, you turn on your Xbox, you load up Halo, you invite your friends, and you start playing Halo. Every time.
Any problem.
Every time. Unless like your internet's down or something, or the servers are down. I mean, that's whatever. PC gaming, it's like, if you're getting a squad of 5 people together to play, guaranteed somebody is going to have some kind of problem that's going to take 20 minutes to fix. Whether it's the game files are corrupted, some like driver update has to happen or is not working right, or like I don't know, some new program they've installed is conflicting with it, or for some reason their frame rate is dropping. It's just like there's always something, and it's so annoying. And like, and I'm an IT guy. Like, I'm familiar with computers. I've built literally hundreds of computers. Like, I do networking. Hundreds, literally hundreds.
Wow, that's good.
And like, and I still have problems, and like, it takes time to fix them, and it's so annoying.
It's true, and it's always I think the most frustrating part about it is you see one thing, you're like, oh, duh, like, I'm an idiot, fix that, and you fix it, and there's still another problem. You're like, what the freak?
Yeah.
What else is the problem? You see something else, like, oh, duh, it's that. And you're like, no, that's still not the problem. Like, the other day, this is very tangenty, but I was typing in, like, a username and password.
Tangenty?
Sure. Like, going off on a tangent. I'm tangenting a lot.
Tangential?
That might be the right word for it.
There's a new word for Chris today.
Yeah, tangential. So there I am. I'm entering like an email and password, and I put in the email. I'm going to put in the password. It's like wrong. I was like, oh, like what is it? I was like, oh, let me try this password or this variation of it. And I was like, oh, the email is wrong. And so I fixed the email, and I tried the password again. I'm like, what the freak? And I tried another password, and then I tried another password. And then I finally figured out the password. But it was frustrating because I was like, oh, well, it's because I typed in the email wrong and still wasn't the right password. So it's like things like that happen all the time in computer gaming, where it's like, oh, this is the problem. Oh, no, it's not. There's something.
Yeah, basically every time Chris tries to log into Uplay, it takes him 20 minutes to get his password right. That's what we're getting at here.
My password's the same on all my devices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not true.
That was good. You tricked him by leaving off the 0.
How do you? Now the 0 before the 1 or after the 9?
Who knows?
Where is it on the keyboard?
Might
give you a hint.
It's going to take them at least 2 tries to get it. So good job.
But I was talking about... Okay, yeah. So back to... I had to verify my game files. Some files had to be restored. And it ruined like some of my operators' initial loadouts. So I had to like go back and like fix every single one to make sure they had the sights equipped and the barrel equipped or whatever. And I like paid attention to make sure I put like charms on all of them because I may as well do it like while I'm there. And the first time I finally noticed it as I was like running in game, I was like, oh, I could put a charm on. Let me look at it. And I like had to like look at it. Like I never noticed it.
Wait, what?
The charms on guns.
Oh, you just like when you put it on, you didn't even notice it was there.
Yeah, like I never noticed it's there because I purposely put them on. Like, oh, I want to put these on and like see them now. Yeah, and I just never even noticed them.
Yeah, I actually have noticed that recently too. It's like because like I unlocked a few new charms from alpha packs and stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll throw these on some guns, and then like after the round when I'm back in the menu screen again, I'm like, wait, I didn't even see it. Like the whole match, I never noticed it once.
I never noticed them,
which I guess is
They're
good.
Cool, but yeah, it's good that it's not like a prominent, like a giant thing on your gun, prominent part of your screen. But like at the same time, it's just kind of. I'm
just not that focused on cosmetics and how things look.
Not at all. I don't really care.
Yeah, I'm like, in fact, blocking all that out just to focus on like
game.
The one dude in front of me.
The thing I hate about cosmetics is when they change operators to where they don't look like the original operator. So you see someone run by and you're like, I don't even know who that was.
Yeah.
I have no idea what operator that was.
Okay. Tangent. Yes.
We're being very tangenty today.
Very tangenty. Tangerine. I super agree with that. Like, I really, really like the idea of like custom skins and like even like kind of these wild ones. But at some point it's like, okay, I saw an operator run by a hall and he was wearing a hazmat suit. So that was one of like 8 different operators that it possibly could have been. You know, it's like, I have no idea who that was.
Yeah.
Or just like, here's this new skin that I haven't seen because I'm not like following the deluge of skins that they're releasing every week. So like, I mean, like I hate to like be like pooping on everybody's fun because like it's cool to have like your custom skins and everything. It's just like really annoying from a gameplay perspective when it's like, I just needed to know who that was. Like, it would have been nice to know that was Sledge and he was just going to barge through that soft wall.
Yeah, there's some of them, like, even when they change colors, it's like yellow. Like, it's either Fink or Lion most of the time. But then Habana has that yellow uniform. You just see, like,
yellow.
Captain
has a yellow.
Like, oh, yeah, now Captain. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think there's more. Like, I think there's several operators that have the hazmat.
But it's like, it's just frustrating. I mean, if you play the game enough, like, you'll get to know all the different uniforms, you know who they are. But the problem is if you just play, like, once or twice a week for a few hours, like you just don't play enough to know every single skin and every single operator. So you see them and you're like, I don't know who that was.
Yeah.
I saw somebody. But I don't know who.
Yeah. But, and like, I don't know what the solution is either. Like, I mean, I guess it'd be cool if you could just like choose to like that. For me, it would just show your default skin. At least like in the game, and then when it's like afterwards on kill screens and stuff, like whatever, show me his real skin. But anyway. Okay, should we move on to the operator recommendation tool?
Yeah, I still want to do that.
Wait, pause. I forgot. We needed to follow up on a couple things from last time, so we actually decided to test some things that we talked about last time. Remember this?
Yeah, I do.
So we tested, first of all, Thatcher's EMPs and how they affect cameras. So we learned that it's a 10-second stun on cameras. And
nothing.
And nothing?
That's like no time.
That's a lot of time.
10 seconds?
10 seconds is a long time.
Kind of. I was
okay, let me tell you, if you're the maestro sitting on the camera, sitting on your evil eye, 10 seconds is a long time for your evil eye not to be working. You
can't make a lot happen in 10 seconds. But if it was like 25 seconds, that would be really good.
That would be good. Like, I think Thatcher
That'd be back to like basically he can destroy it again like he used to be able to.
Right. Yeah, I think he it needs to be changed a little bit to be better for my boy Thatcher, but so 10 seconds, and it doesn't matter how far it is from it. We didn't actually test whether there is a difference between the time for like black eyes, evil eyes, and regular cameras.
No, we just did regular cameras, but I
assume
was kind of assuming it was the same.
I'm pretty sure it's the same. What was the other thing we tested?
The shield. So
suppression.
If you're a shield, if you're a shield operator and you're getting shot from bullets, you do have a larger reticle that begins to expand as you're getting shot at.
Yeah, it's hard to hit. Which I'm sure anybody who plays shields regularly already knew that very well, but we didn't. Okay, anything else that we tested? Is that it?
No, that was it.
Okay, we'll be your testy boys. If you guys need us to test anything, let us know. The operator recommendation tool. Okay, so this is like we just stumbled on this as we were getting ready for the podcast. So on the Siege website, rainbow6.ubisoft.com, if you scroll down just a little bit, well, wait, where did I find this? You have to go to like game overview. And then you scroll down just a little bit, and then there's the operator recommendation tool. It says answer a few questions to get a recommendation on what attacker and what defender you should start with. So it's almost like one of those like, which Harry Potter character are you like quizzes on the Rainbow Six site. So I kind of want to just do it. So let's do it. Do you have it open?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, let's both do it. Start the survey. 1 of 4. What is your online PvP shooter experience? I'm always among the best of my team in online FPS.
Yes.
I often play online PvP shooters. I often play online PvP games, but not shooter games, or I rarely play online.
I'm answering I'm always among the best of my team in online FPS.
That's fair. I'm going to, I think, do this a little bit different because I think we're pretty similar in the kinds of players we are. So I'm just going to do it different and just kind of see what we get. So I'm going to say I often play PvP games, but not shooter games.
Let me explain that too, because Ryan trained me in video games.
Since the age of like 4.
Yeah, so Halo 1 came out and Ryan trained me to be really good in Halo 1, so when a bunch of people came over for a LAN party, I would be a viable teammate, and I was.
Mostly just because we needed an 8th person.
Sure.
I only have so many friends, you guys.
But anyway, so that's kind of part of the reason why
so
we're similar players.
Literally, Chris at like 6 years old is like dominating my friends in Halo 1, just like pistol sniping the poop out of them.
This is a true story.
It's so funny. They would get so mad. Like, who's this 6-year-old kid? We're like 16. And he's just dominating them at Halo. It was the best. Okay, next question. 2 of 4. Do you prefer moving constantly or taking your time holding a point? I can do both. I prefer moving constantly. I prefer fully analyzing the situation before moving and or stay to cover a point.
I prefer moving constantly.
I can do both, and I think that's actually true for me.
Question 3 of 4. Do you usually communicate with your teammates when playing online? Yes, always. Only when I play with friends. Or no, never. I am yes, always.
Yeah, I'm going to say no, never. I'm interested to see who it recommends for somebody who doesn't communicate at all.
And 4 of 4. Do you usually learn easily the maps and do you usually learn the maps easily and game patterns? That is a funny worded question. Yes, it is quite easy for me. It takes a bit of time, but no big deal. Or no, I usually struggle to learn a game. I am saying yes, it is quite easy for me.
Should I go with struggle or takes time?
It takes time.
Okay. So I'm basically saying I'm kind of an average player. I don't play a lot of shooters, but I play PvP. I can kind of do whatever. But what was the third question that
that you can do both?
No, what was the other
one? Really play PvP.
4 questions that I already forgot. Where it was like, are you...
Do you communicate? Do you do
Yeah,
that?
communicate. Okay, yeah. Okay, here we go. Attacker, fuse. I don't have to communicate to play games, apparently, except for all the times that the fuse freaking destroys you while you're on the objective.
Yeah.
As your teammate.
I mean, I guess, though, with fuse, you can see your teammate outlines. Like, if you're smart enough to just look down,
yeah.
you're not going
to
hurt
wait,
them.
wait. So wait, I said, I play PvP, but not shooters.
Uh-huh.
I don't communicate.
Uh-huh.
I can move or can hold a point, and I'm okay at learning the maps.
Yeah.
I guess Fuse makes sense for that.
I
guess he's kind of solo in that, like, you can kind of just go and set off your charges, and as long as you're aware of where your teammates are, you can be effective without really having to work with them.
Yeah. And he's not like he has his gadgets that does kills and does damage without having to have your gun in a gun first-person shooter game.
Right. Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's good. Okay, and then my defender was Capkin. So that's good too. It's another person who's going to get kills or do damage without having to be in a gunfight. You kind of have to know the maps when I really. Same with Fuse, right? Like it's good to know the maps and like, but if you don't know them, you can kind of just like place stuff around the objective
Ross,
and make it work.
Is another similar one for that.
And yeah, Capkin doesn't really have to communicate. I mean, that's actually pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with that. Okay, who'd you get?
This is not surprising at all. Attacker Ash, moving around a lot, played a lot of PvP, and Defender Pulse.
So basically, you're a Call of Duty player.
Yep.
You should just be playing these guys.
Running super fast all over the place.
Yeah.
Shooters, killers.
Yeah.
And those are... Actually, I don't play those operators. I play... On defense, if I'm playing that way, I'm usually playing Jaeger. But I have been playing Smoke a little bit recently, and that's actually been really fun. Or Valkyrie. I play Valkyrie a lot, actually.
Yeah.
And then attackers, I've been playing a lot of IQ recently, or Sledge. Which
those are good fraggers, too. Cool, pretty good. And then they have a how to play link here. What does that give us? A video or something? Capkin overview. Okay, it's like Capkin's page on the thing.
Yeah,
this is actually interesting. Interactions, so allies and opponents. So it goes through and talks about who kind of counters you and who you sync up with really well, alternatives, so similar operators. This is actually cool. You could get a lot of information here.
I'm actually very impressed right now.
Yeah, the thing is you have to go operator by operator to like really get the information. So it's like, I think there's still the problem of like, that we've talked about several times, like how am I supposed to know that Dokubi doesn't affect Yokai? Or not Echo, right? Like you'd have to go through and read each of these one by one. But this is actually really cool. If I was a new player and I was like really into Siege, where I was at the point where it's like during the day I can't stop thinking about Siege and I'm just on the website and stuff, like this is actually pretty cool. So you guys should check this out. Like whether you're new or old, I think it's just cool. If you're new, it's probably a useful resource. And if you've been around forever, I think it's just cool to see. Okay, wait, let's do the survey one more time and just see if we can like get a specific operator.
Okay.
So who should we try to get?
Okay, so I think you can only get the default basic operators, though.
Oh, yeah, because you got who? Ash and
I got
Pulse?
Ash and Pulse, and you
okay,
got
so there's
Captain
probably no DLC
Muse.
operators. That makes sense. Let's see. Should we see if we can get Rook?
Okay.
Is that a good one, or should we do somebody else?
No, let's do that. Let's go for Rook, and let's go for... I want to get Sledge.
Okay. What's your shooter experience? I think for Rook, I would say I rarely play. I think Rook is for noobs. That's what I think Ubisoft thinks.
Okay.
Which is funny because I main Rook.
For Sledge, I'm going to say... Like I often play online PvP shooters.
Okay. Do you prefer moving constantly or taking time? I definitely prefer analyzing and staying in cover.
I'm going to say moving constantly because I think Sledgehammer is going to be moving around.
He's all about moving. Do you usually communicate with your teammates? Only when I play with friends, or no, never?
I'm saying play with friends.
That makes sense for Sledge. What about for Rook? Should I just say never? Because I think his whole thing is you don't have to say anything,
just put down.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you usually learn the maps easily? No, I struggle to learn maps.
Should I say it's easy because I'm moving through the map, or should I say it takes some time, no big deal?
I think you're in the middle.
Middle. Okay.
Yeah, time but no big deal. Next question. I got Fuse and Capkin again.
I got Ash and Jaeger.
Wait. So you got the same attacker, but you got a different defender. Why?
I don't know.
What'd you say different? You said only with friends?
Yeah. And I said I put the middle for another one too.
Huh. Oh, about learning maps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense because Jaeger, you don't need to know the map as well as a pulse.
No.
Okay, well, I couldn't get a Rook, but cool thing.
Anyway, that is cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's do our operator spotlights. So what we want to do is for this, and tell us if you guys like it or not. And if it's bad, we won't do it again. If it's good, we'll keep doing it. We have a whole bunch of operators to do. But what we want to do is just choose one attacker and one defender and just kind of do a spotlight on this is who they are, this is how they work, this is like the gear that we like using for this person, this is the kind of the tricks that we do with them and what we like to how we like to use them, and here's what we think about how well balanced they are, what kind of buffs or nerfs they need, and all that kind of stuff, and just kind of like do a deep dive on 2 operators on each episode and just kind of
see where it goes.
Do that. We won't do it probably every week, depending on like what there's to talk about. Sometimes it's a slower week where there's just not big news coming out. Obviously, when there's like a new season starting or something, there's plenty to talk about. So we probably wouldn't do it on that kind of case. But so for this week, for our attacker, we're doing Thatcher.
Yeah, I think you're doing Thatcher.
And then for defender, we're doing Doc. Start with Thatcher.
Yes.
Okay.
GPS satellites, unmanned drones, king laser sights. The more crutches you have, the more it hurts when they're kicked out from under you. If there's one thing I know for sure, it's that a 6-inch blade never loses reception.
So we chose these guys because these are kind of our mains. And again, like we jump around a lot. We play a lot of different operators all the time. But I have probably 50 hours on Thatcher. The next closest is probably like 25 on attacking.
Dang.
So I've played a lot of freaking Thatcher, and I've been playing a lot of Thatcher since the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just start with some high level thoughts. So what I like about Thatcher is that I feel like he's always good no matter what. Like, because the other team will always have somebody with something that the EMP is going to affect.
Mm-hmm.
And less so now because of the camera nerf, which is very annoying as a Thatcher main. But it used to be like, even if they didn't have a lot of trap operators or whatever, at least you could use it to get cameras, right? And so like he always had some utility. And that was really nice. And a lot of times it's very useful. Like if they have a lesion, it's extremely useful to be able to just like throw EMPs on the doors you're pushing and just clear out those goos before you have to worry about it, right?
Yeah.
And then he has good guns. He's got a claymore and a breach charge. So like those are kind of just like really solid attacking secondary gadgets. So just kind of at a high level, that's what I like about him. Do you have anything to add at that kind of?
Not really. I think it's just funny because he used to be like, before, like you could throw his EMP in a room and you get like 70 points. You just destroy so many gadgets.
Yeah.
And now it's just not even a thing really anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about kind of where he started and where he's come since then. So one thing that's changed about Thatcher is his range on the EMPs used to be a lot bigger. Actually, let me look him up on the wiki because the wiki actually has pretty good patch notes. So it turns out when you search Thatcher wiki, you get the results for Margaret Thatcher. Surprise, surprise. Okay, so yeah, the EMP back in May of 2016, the EMP effective range was reduced from 7 to 5.2 meters. So that's a pretty big reduction.
Mm-hmm. That's like 6 feet.
But it did add that it would disable electronic sights, so red dot sights and that kind of stuff. Once that changed, there was stuff that I used to do that you couldn't do anymore. So like on the old Hereford, there was the second and first floor camera that are like literally like right on top of each other, just on different floors. And I'm pretty sure after that nerf happened, like I used to just throw an EMP in that corner and get both of those cameras.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really nice, especially if they were in the first floor objective, because a lot of times there was gadgets around that area. So I could get like both those cameras with one EMP without even having to be on that floor, and then get like all the gadgets around there too. And even from the third floor, like you could enter in on the third floor if they were like on first floor, throw that EMP, and then you can go down the stairs with both those cameras having been destroyed, so they can't see you coming down. So like that was like a super cool thing, like on that specific map that I liked to do, and that nerf like killed that, which was like super sad. Overall, it was probably good, don't you think?
Yeah,
that's a really long range, especially as they have added more people. Like that's the thing with Thatcher that I think the devs have been like looking at a lot, is that as they're adding more people with more gadgets and stuff, he's like just becoming more and more powerful. And so I think that's why we've had the recent nerf where he only disables cameras. So like it sucks being a Thatcher main, because it's like I have learned these patterns that I do, right? And it's like it sucks that they don't work the same anymore. I have to like find new ways to use them. But like the range one, at least, I think was probably a good idea.
Yeah, Thatcher's like a really useful teammate to have on offense, because so you have your Twitch, which is very helpful. Like especially now with Mira, Twitch is like one of the go-to. Maverick now has been more helpful, like with the garage doors, just getting those batteries or jammers. Like it's become now where you don't need Thatcher because you can just use Maverick instead. But Thatcher just has been such a useful operator, because you don't have to worry about the Twitch drone getting shot. You throw your freaking EMP outside the reinforced wall, and there you go.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, now even with Maverick, that's just another operator that's started to make Thatcher less useful.
Yeah. Yeah. What I really liked about like the Thatcher and Twitch choice was like as the bandit trick started getting more popular, it became like where it was more of a choice between the two. Because like I feel like before people started doing the bandit trick, Thatcher was just the obvious easy pick. Like they're going to put their jammers down, or they're going to put their electricity down on the reinforced wall that you want to breach. You just throw your thing and it's taken care of, and you don't have to worry about it. Like with Twitch, it's like you got to sneak the drone, especially when you only had one shock drone.
Yeah.
Like you got to sneak it in there and hope it gets in. If they kill that shock drone before it gets there, like
it's over.
Well, I guess you're not getting in that wall, like unless you like find a clever way to get behind it and blow it up. So like in that way, Thatcher was almost like a must pick. But then with the bandit trick coming along, like I think that was a really good way for the meta to sort of rebalance those operators like naturally. Yeah. Which again, this brings us back to like let meta settle.
Yeah, it does that.
Because I mean, if you would have like rebalanced Thatcher and Twitch within the first 2 weeks before people figured out the bandit trick, like then like the bandit trick would have come along, and then like Thatcher would have been terrible or whatever, and Twitch would have been way too powerful or something like that, And so like just kind of let things settle and like let people figure things out, and people will find silly tricks and things will like work themselves out.
Clash will no longer be a problem.
Yeah. Right
now Clash is considered very OP, and you get like chastised in game for picking Clash. Like, I can't believe you're picking Clash.
You picked Clash, that's why you won. Like, okay, people used to say this on Montaigne.
Yeah. Are you serious?
Now like everything's Montaigne is garbage.
Get out of here. Or like people still complain about Caveira too. Like, oh, you're picking Caveira.
I complain about Caveira.
There's other operators. Okay.
You're speaking about a specific person we played with last night, but
anyway. Well, that was 2 different nights.
But yeah, I complain about Caveira a lot because she's a freaking spoop.
What was I saying with that though? But yeah. So I think even if they don't balance Clash, I really do think people will find a way to start working against Clash, and she just will be less useful.
Yeah, 100%.
I think she is strong. She's definitely strong, and I see a buff coming, or a nerf coming.
Well, we
shortly.
already have patch notes that have nerfs.
Yeah,
listed out. So,
but
that's happening. But you're right.
I just think with time.
Yeah, like just give it some time at least. But I like, while I'm kind of like arguing with their game design choices, I do actually like Ubisoft's approach to it, that like they will just tweak a little bit. They'll just like turn dials down a little bit.
Crazy stuff.
That they have all the dials in front of them, and they're not just like, okay, let's ratchet this up and like turn this down. They're just like, okay, let's just nudge this one a little bit and that one a little bit. And so like the community is feeling like, okay, good, they're listening, they're doing things, they're making changes, and so and they are like real like significant changes, but at the same time they're not like re-breaking everything just by like flipping it the other way, right? Yeah. So
it's interesting too with video games, like you'll notice in patch notes or whatever, it's always like, it's not like we made this faster by 3 seconds. It's like we made this faster by 2.79 seconds, or this action is 30.37% faster. It's like always these weird percentages, because they know like milliseconds in video games matter.
Yeah, like they're being
the
very
littlest
precise
things
about
are
it.
very important in a video game.
Yeah, or at least they're trying to make us feel like they're being very precise about it. So that's cool.
Anyway,
back to Thatcher. And so I'm just like, again, like this whole segment is a work in progress, so we're kind of just working through like what to talk about and stuff. But so I'm just going to try to kind of go through everything. So he's a 2-speed 2 armor, which I think is really good for the way that he works. Where he like he's not a point man, right? He's not like the guy who's like leading the charge. And so like he doesn't need like all the armor or whatever. But also he's mobile enough that he can like move around to different points of the map and help like other operators get through things, and like EMP and you know, several different areas that people need help. But then he also has like some survivability a little bit. So like I think 2-2 is a good balance for him.
Yeah, I don't think that needs to really change.
Yeah, and then as far as his gear, so he has the AR-33 assault rifle. That's an automatic assault rifle. I think it has like 20. I'm trying to remember. It's like a 26 round mag. So it's actually a like most assault rifles are 30 or 31 with one in the chamber, right?
Mm-hmm. Hibana's is tiny, like 22.
Yeah, and like you notice with Hibana's, right, that it's 22. And with Thatcher too, like when you use the AR-33, you'll notice those extra 4 or 5 bullets that you don't have.
Yeah.
So like I think it's 25 with one in the chamber. So it's 5 less than like most others. And you know, some people actually have 32, 33, whatever. So so you do notice that, but it's got less kick than his L85A, which is the other option. So like for a long time I used the AR-33 because I couldn't handle the kick of the L85, and then like as I've gotten better I switched back, and the L85 is freaking amazing. Like it's such a good gun.
Yeah.
So Sledge has the same one, right?
That's the only option for Sledge.
Right, besides a shotgun. Where would you place that as far as like ranking the assault rifles in the game?
That one's pretty good. I know people love the R4C that Ash has. I love her G36C. I think that's partly just because I've used it in other video games, and I love just kind of how it looks.
Yeah, it's a cool looking gun.
But I think it's pretty high up there. I'm trying to think if there's another operator.
I mean, a lot of the DLC operators have really good ones.
Yeah.
Thermites is bad, I think.
Really?
You like Thermites?
I don't mind it.
Oh, I hate it.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, some of the newer ones, like Maverick has a really great assault rifle in the the M4.
Yeah, that one is good.
And then like Finka's is really good.
Finka's is, I haven't played it.
Twitch's F2.
F2 is pretty good.
It's disgustingly good. But like the LE5, I'd say it's probably up there in like top 5 assault rifles.
Yeah.
Like it's a really good gun. And also I love the skin, that like SWAT skin where it's like the white and the blue. You know what I'm talking about? It's like it looks like a gun out of Halo. Like it looks like
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know
Is
exactly
it in Halo 4 where you can get like that skin for the DMR? Not that skin, but a similar skin for like a DMR
like
BR or something.
I think yes. I know what you're talking about
now
completely.
I'm like, okay, this looks like a Halo gun, and I love Halo, so it's freaking amazing.
IQ's gun. That one's pretty good. The what's it called? Not the AUG. 5F2 Commando.
There it is, 552 Commando.
That gun's pretty good. That's a good one.
Yeah. But yeah, again, L8582 is like way up there. Yep. It's a really great gun. And then his other option is just a kind of a standard pump action shotty. So I feel like that's actually really bad for his play style. Cause like, at least the way I play him, like I feel like I'm there to like, remove obstacles and then to like stay safe, you know? So if we need to move, like if we need to open more stuff, like I'll typically take the defusal kit when I have him. And like I'll be the guy who like I'm there, I'm putting fire down, but I'm far enough away that I'm like relatively safe. I'm not just like the first guy pushing in, right? So I don't know. For me, I feel like a pump action shotty is a really tough sell for an attacker, especially, and then particularly for his play style. What else about Thatcher? So as far as like synergy, like it kind of, the thing with him is like it kind of depends on what the defense is doing. And like if they're doing a lot of traps, then you kind of just want him like maybe with the shield guy who's pushing, right? Like that's really good. Other than that, I mean, Thermite Hibana, he's going to want to accompany those Harbreachers and help them get in.
Yeah.
Fuse, he's great with Fuse. If there's a jammer that's not letting Fuse do his thing, then Thatcher can let that go, and then Fuse kind of destroys the rest of the gadgets in the room. So that's always good. So like one thing you should do if you want to play Thatcher is you really should know the maps well, and you should know like kind of the hot zones where people are going to put a lot of traps, and like just the popular places to put like cameras and all that kind of stuff. Well, again, now that he can't destroy cameras, it's not as good, right?
Yeah.
Like some things I used to do is like I used to get on the roofs of maps and just like EMP cameras through the roofs. And like, it doesn't seem like it's that helpful until it's like the last 30 seconds and it's a 1-on-2 situation and you don't have to worry about the main camera, right? You don't have to worry about the front entrance camera on house because Thatcher got it from the roof. Or you don't have to worry about the lobby camera in bank or the skylight camera in bank because Thatcher got those through the roof before anybody could even see them what they got. No?
Yeah.
And so it doesn't really seem like it makes a difference until it's that last 30 seconds and somebody's trying to make like a desperate push and they don't have to worry about being spotted. So like, I think if you like, it sucks that you can't destroy cameras anymore. Like that totally ruins a lot of my strategy with him.
And he is like a super useful operator, and it's just sometimes you don't notice it until like those last 30 seconds, or you just only notice it some rounds. Some rounds it's just very useful, and some rounds it's just not.
Right. And he's the kind of guy that like the Thatcher did that, and like even when it affects the outcome, nobody noticed. Like nobody knew that Thatcher did it. Or, like even if they noticed that the camera was destroyed, nobody knew that Thatcher did that like 10 seconds into the round.
Yeah.
But like it.
Yeah.
And like
I did that, guys.
Yeah.
That's me.
I almost think that he's sort of like the Mario of Siege, where he's just like he's not like particularly great at anything, but he's just like average all around. And so like as long as you're playing him right, then like you're gonna be great. Right? Like he's got a good gun, not a great gun. Actually, the L85 might be great, but good. And then he's got a good gadget, not a great gadget. He's like 2-2, so he's just kind of like he's just right there in like average world, but like being average at everything is actually kind of great because then that means like you have no weaknesses, right?
Yeah. Overall, I think he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's a good op. There's a reason he's my favorite. Really like that dude. Okay, let's spotlight our boy Doc.
I've learned from experience that the place to save lives is in the field, not an office. And sometimes, the only way to save a life is to take one.
Okay, so Doc. So very like before his first buff, which was a long time ago. Not long after the game came out, it was like 7-8 months afterwards. I guess it was 9 months afterwards. So in September, his stim pistol was overhauled. So before this, he was only able to revive people when they went down with his stim pistol.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot
nothing
about
else.
This.
And that's how I had played Doc until I had left, and then I came back, and all of a sudden he was like really good. And this is a change that had happened 2 years ago.
Yeah. So just to be clear, because you explained it really fast, he couldn't actually heal your HP.
No.
Right? He like if you went down, he could revive you with his stim pistol and you would come up at 75 instead of 50, just like it is now. Mm. But there was no healing and there was no overhealing. So that like really made him very situational.
Yeah. So they made a patch on September 13th of 2016 that made his stim pistol do what it does now, where it heals people 40 HP each start, and he can heal himself and whatnot. So that made him a whole different operator. So before, I had still mained a Doc, and basically how I played him, and I still play him this way now, is I would literally follow one of my teammates in like a roamer sometimes, like kind of further
more
away.
Of like what do they call that when you're not roaming, but you're just kind of like right outside the objective? Is that lurking?
Sure.
But like there's a term for it.
I don't know.
It's kind of funny because most of these terms come from like
MOBAs.
I guess they come from like CS, but like like MOBAs. Like I feel like a lot of MOBA terms have worked their way into the FPS world.
Yep. Anyway, so I would like sit there like stim pistol train an operator when they start taking fire, and then as soon as they go down, I just shoot it at them, and then I pull out my primary gun and just start shooting wherever the bullets were coming from, so they could get away.
Yeah.
And I still do that now, and it works
let me tell
great.
you, it's amazing. It's really great to like get down, nice. And then I actually saw a clip of this on the sub today. Somebody that like some Ella was like peeking the staircase or something, and she killed one guy, and another guy came up and killed her, and like he instantly hit her right as she was going down, and so she just like there wasn't even like, you know, when you go down and you try to move and you can't because you have to like get your finger off the key and push it again, which is so annoying. But like there wasn't even that. It was just like she got up so fast that she kind of just like sidled back into the doorway and like was safe again. And then she just like pulled out her gun again and just went and like killed the guy. It was like so amazing.
He is good. Other than that, like Buff, there's been nothing else changed with Doc other than his overheal health has been increased, and then his movement speed was slightly increased recently. But I think that was just all speed. Speed ones was increased. Anyway, so that's basically how Doc works. That's how I play him. I still play him like that now. I will like follow a teammate around. I'll just notice who's taking fire or who's in a battle, and I'll go to that teammate and just have a stim pistol train on them. And then when I shoot that stim pistol, like if they go down, I just pull out my gun and start shooting wherever the fire was coming from, because I don't really know where the person is. But more than half the time, if you just start shooting in a general direction, people stop shooting and they take cover. Yeah. So your friend's going to be safe because they just know there's a second person there. So that's how I play him. I love Doc. He's my top played operator. I think I have 60 hours played with Doc. You can look at my stats right now. So I have 60 hours and 30 minutes of Doc played with the 1.63 win-loss ratio and 1.54 kill-death ratio.
That's pretty good.
So my Doc, it's pretty
Your Doc's hitting kills.
Up there. Yeah, true. I've revived 196 teammates with Doc. Which actually isn't that much for how many hours that I've played with him. But I do like playing Doc. So he has the MP5 shotgun, the P90. P90 kind of sucks, to be honest. It's
a lot of people really like it, but
it's good because it has a ton of bullets in it.
Yeah.
But it's just it moves around so much. It's hard to control. It's very difficult to control.
I feel like the kick's actually less than the MP5.
I don't. I think it's I think it's all
I guess,
over the place.
Is it like more that it's horizontal recoil?
Too. I don't know. I just know it's all over the place.
I don't know the exact stats, but like my biggest problem with it is just doesn't do a lot of damage. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't hit that many headshots. Like, I mean, I hit headshots, but like I'm not the guy who's just like always pinpointing people's heads. Yeah. So it's just nice to have something that's like putting out damage.
He has a shotgun. The shotgun can be good, like if you have a teammate below you or something that is down, you can shoot a hole in the floor and revive them below you. And that's one reason why the shotgun's good, but the MP5 overall is just, the MP5 with the ACOG is just good. It's just really good. And it's a very stable, steady gun, very easy to use. Its gadget, I use bulletproof camera all the time. Barbed wire, I almost never use on any operator.
Really?
Unless if there's a deployable shield or barbed wire, I pick barbed wire.
Yeah, that's the thing is like if the choice is between impacts and barbed wire, I'm going to go impacts almost every time. Same with bulletproof camera. It's like, like barbed wire is really, really good, but like having an explosive,
other things are better.
That's kind of nice.
I used to use the revolver a ton until it failed me recently, and I just have stopped using it.
Yeah, things not good.
So I just love the high damage of it. Well, the thing is, I love the Deagle. And I use the Deagle like frequently
on Valkyrie and Blackbeard.
Yes, and I am really good with the Deagle, but the LFP 586 is revolver it's
never been good. Like before the Deagle was introduced, that was like the most powerful pistol in the game, and it was always disappointing how it just didn't handle well. It was just so hard.
Yeah, the problem is aim down sight or hip fire just doesn't work. That's the problem, because a gun like that's where it's like, oh, hip fire.
I would ADS with it still, but like even that, it's just like it kicks so much.
It's hard, which it would, but anyway. So I always use his pistol. But Doc is really like a fun operator. He's pretty good to play even if you're just like new at Rainbow Six Siege, just because you heal people. People's health goes down, you shoot them with a stim pistol. You also accidentally kill people sometimes. It happened to me like the other day. Like it was a weird action, so I had vaulted over something, and I pressed the stim pistol button like multiple times very quickly. And then as I did that, I just pulled out a pistol that I thought was a stim pistol, and I looked straight down at the teammate and shot him. I just spammed the click button, left mouse, And I just shot him twice with the revolver. I was like, oh,
Like, whoops.
I'm so sorry. Like, I just
Sorry, dude.
executed you. There you were on the ground. I pulled out my revolver
Yeah.
and shot you twice in the head.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But he's a good operator. He's overall just balanced. He's easy to play. I love him. I love Doc.
So I would actually say he's not that easy to play. Like, I mean, it's like the concept is simple, but like knowing when to do it and like being aware of all of your teammates' health all the time and where they are on the map, like it's actually fairly difficult, I think.
Okay, I could see that.
And also knowing when to pick him, because like if your team is a bunch of like one armors, gosh, I can't do this. If your team's a bunch of one armors, like, and there's no rook, he's not going to be that useful because they're just going to be dying, right? Like, they're not going to go down, and they don't have like enough health to spare to be able to heal them, you know? So like, I mean, the freaking rock combo, Rook and Doc, that's amazing.
Very helpful.
Yeah, that's super good. So like, yeah, I would say like he actually takes a little bit more game sense than Thatcher, for example.
Yeah. He's a good operator, I think, though.
Yeah, he's good. So just random fact, looking at his stat sheet here on the wiki, his height is 5'9" and his weight is 163 pounds. That's like exactly me. I'm like 5'9.5" and like somewhere, I mean, depending on the day, somewhere right around like 160, 165 pounds. So like, he's like exactly my size, which is funny because like he looks a lot bigger than I do.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of armor on.
Which also means he's pretty skinny because like I'm like a skinny dude. Like I've got a little bit of extra fat on me right now because I'm married and I have kids and stuff. But like I'm not buff at all. Like when I'm skinny, I'm like 150. So if he's only 163, like the dude doesn't have a lot of muscle. He's kind of just like a little like average little dude running around.
Anyway, that is Doc for you. Reddit.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with a quick one. This is a post by Stanchen18. So he's actually an artist. Posts creative stuff. I'm debating. So it's like a little comic that was really funny. I'm debating whether to like try to like describe it and read it on the podcast. Like if I don't read it, then like people won't experience it because they're not going to remember to go visit it.
Yeah.
But then if I do, then there's no reason to go see it. So it's sad. Okay, so here's what it is. So I guess Jaeger is going to be featured or has been featured in Ghost Recon Wildlands, or if not, then I guess he's just making this up. But I'm assuming that Jaeger's in Wildlands. So it's got like a panel of like a helicopter flying in and like Jaeger dropping out of the helicopter, and there's a soldier who says, "Welcome to Bolivia, Operator Jaeger." And then like it shows Jaeger like he's like looking around, like his head's like spinning, and she's like telling him all this background. Ghost appreciates your arrival to the Wildland, as your assistance will be a valuable asset to the fight against the rapid growing El Sueño and Unidad forces, yada yada yada. And she's just like going into this whole thing, and then it shows him like rifling through like a supply case, and she's like, "Mr. Straker." And then on the next panel, it's like the Link getting an item out of a treasure chest position where he's like holding it up to the camera. It's his ACOG. And it's just like floating above his hand, and it's like this like glorious victorious pose. And then like
pretty funny, the
last panel is like the soldier who is describing the things to him. She's kind of just like in the background, and he's just sitting there like loving his ACOG. It's pretty good.
It's a really funny post.
Like I had to come to this other game to get my ACOG.
It's really funny.
Yeah,
like it's very, very impressive.
Very clever. Good job. Like I have misgivings about how much art goes onto the Siege subreddit. Like I think it's a little bit overboard, and like maybe sometime we can go into this a little more. But this one, great job, Stanchen18. You can follow him on Twitter and other platforms. I think it's just at Stanchen18. So I'll post a link to that that Reddit post, and I'll even post like some of his social links in the show notes so you guys can follow him. But good on you, Stanchen. All right, what do you got, Chris?
Okay, so mine is by u/Ziniturk. I'm going to spell his name. It's XINITRC_. Basically...
Oh, yeah, this is the same one that I found, too.
Yeah, so talks about the weapon attachments, the barrel attachments. So it shows the silencer, the flash hider, compensator, muzzle brake, and extended barrel. And this is exactly what they do. So Ubisoft had clarified what they each do. In the game, it just kind of gives a brief description, but not like exactly what it does. This is exactly what it does. So the suppressor.
So it just one thing. Like, I'm sorry, just to credit this properly. So there, like, it's like a nice like chart with each barrel, and then like the details of it, and the actual source of that chart comes from a video by Rogue9 on YouTube. So this is really from Rogue9, but it was Zini TRC that posted it to the sub.
Yeah. So anyway, so the suppressor, there are no smoke trails when using the suppressor. There's no threat indicators, and it takes 15% of the damage of the gun off. So basically, if you're shooting at someone, they don't know where you are. They're going to hear the shot slightly, but they won't have that threat indicator that tells them what direction it's coming from, and there will be no smoke bullet trail showing you where the bullet's coming from.
Right.
So it's very useful if you're flanking somebody, because they don't really know where that shot's coming from.
And just to clarify on the threat indicator, this is not when you get hit and it shows the red on the side of the screen so you know which direction you got hit from. This is if it's a near miss, and like then it will show like the gray not what would you have, the gray lines, I guess, that show where the balls are coming. So if you hit them, they're going to know where you are, but if you haven't hit them, it's mysterious. So like with that information, the silencer is great for Maverick, especially because he's got those tiny holes, that he's doing. Or like you're saying, if you're roaming, our friend Camden, he likes to roam with Jaeger with a silencer, because then he can just kind of be sneaky, and like when he shoots at people, they won't know where it came from. So I think silencers might be one of the more underrated attachments.
Agreed. Next one is flash hider. So it's minus 37.5% first shot recoil.
That's a lot.
Yes. Minus 30% centering time, and a 5% smaller diamond. So the diamond, for this explanation, someone had asked in the subreddit, what is the diamond? And its Epi replied, explaining, after each shot, you could superimpose a diamond on that shot that the next shot will fire and land within that diamond. So basically, every shot, you can basically draw a circle around that, and the next shot's going to land within that circle.
Right.
So a 5% smaller diamond isn't too much, but something. Next one's compensator, which is very simple, 17.75% smaller diamond, basically less weapon kick. Then you have the muzzle brake, which is minus 45% first shot recoil,
which is a ton,
and minus 45% centering time. So that's also a ton. So that actually is not a bad attack, especially for a DMR.
Yep, this is great for DMRs, or if you like to do single shot, which that's another thing. Like, how often do people actually change their firing rate in Siege?
No, I do it every once in a blue moon.
Yeah, I used to do it a lot more until I realized, like, you know what, I should just keep it on auto. There's no reason. Like, there's other games where I do, like Ring of Elysium, we talked about before. Ring of Elysium, actually, it makes a huge difference, and I do it all the time. Maybe it's just because, like, the engagements are a lot longer.
Yeah, 400 yards away.
Yeah, versus meters. Siege, where it's like almost every engagement is really close.
Yeah.
But like, I'd be curious to know if you actually do change your firing rate frequently. I'd be curious to know how well you feel like it works for you.
Yeah. The last one, the extended barrel, it's only available on a few weapons. It just long range damage is increased by 15 to 20%.
Yeah, so the damage drop off basically is less.
Anyway, that's that.
Yeah, so good
post. Cool post.
Yeah, I think compensator overall is just kind of like minus 17 and 17.75% like variability in your shots.
Yeah,
basically, like that's kind of a big deal.
It's a lot.
So, yeah, you should check that out if you're trying to make decisions on what to do. I wish they would put this information in the game. That's where you need it. Very annoying. Also, a firing range. Can we please get a firing range?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Maybe we can just pick up every single weapon, every single attachment, and yeah, that'd be very nice.
Change it while you're in game.
Okay, I have one more post, and actually, we don't actually have listener questions because we had that one tweet from Will Shika Bob about his operator. So we'll close it out with this. So, do you have one more? Or are you done?
Nope.
Okay. So this is from Maybe Not 3. It's hard to read these names because like it's just one word, right? And so it's like, oh, maybe oh, maybe not. It's just like, it's so obvious once you see him, and like, Anyway, maybe not 3 on Reddit. His post is titled Maverick and Clash both break the game in different ways. So this is interesting just because like Maverick and Clash are kind of a hot topic right now, having just come out and people having a lot of trouble playing against them. So as people have been really complaining about Mav and Clash since they came out. Actually, just let me insert one thing here. As much as people have been talking about how OP they are, like when we play, I'm not actually seeing that much Mav and Clash. Are you?
True.
So there's a bit of Mav.
I think there is some people that are just afraid to pick Clash because of the backlash you get for picking Clash.
I don't think so.
No?
I mean,
It comes into my mind sometimes when I'm going to pick her.
People never
I think you're
stopped
mad.
picking Ashe or Ella. You know?
That's true.
Yeah, I really don't think that factors into who people pick. I don't think toxicity is a detractor.
I think about it.
In people's choices. Maybe you do. Most don't. But yeah, I do see a fair amount of Maverick, but I'd still say only maybe like 50% of the games that we're playing. Again, we're like silver gold. So like, again, this is called Unrenowned for a reason. If you want to criticize our podcast for us not being good at Siege, that's fair. That we never claimed to be. That's why it's called Unrenowned. It's like right there in the title. But at least at our level, I'm not seeing like almost no Clash really. And then
I see her,
very little map,
but
like
not
I
often.
see her, but like
It's not like I see her like a
20%
new operator I saw before.
Yeah. It's not like when like I'm trying to think. Like when Valkyrie and Blackbeard came out, right? Like they were in every single round, every time. Anyway, so back to maybe not's post. I can see why they both do things that ops in their respective sides haven't been able to do yet. So we actually talked about this when they first came out, that like basically these play completely differently from anything we've seen before, and which is kind of what makes them cool, but also what makes it take longer for the meta to adjust to them. He says Mav can breach fortified walls silently and pass counters like Bandit and Mute, while Clash being a shield op on defense lets her do all sorts of crazy things like runouts, scouting, and info grabbing for basically free. Yeah, that's what they're supposed to do. These are both very polarizing ops, and I wonder if Ubi knew just how strong they were when they were designing them. One thing is clear for me, that when Ubi made them, they wanted to try breaking a few rules of the game. Are you with them so far?
Kind of.
What's your misgiving?
Just keep going.
Keep going, okay. Mav breaks the rule that fortified walls are safe. Before, if you had a jammer or battery on it, fortified walls virtually unbreakable without a lot of commitment, so people were used to hiding behind them for cover. Now, however, people sit in new spots if they confirm a Mav is on the other side. Good assessment? I think that's a fair assessment. Yeah. Clash, meanwhile, is a shield op. I think the most rule-breaking thing she can do. And when he says rule-breaking, he's not saying, like, it's game-breaking, right? He's saying, like, Siege had these, like, quote-unquote rules established of how the game is played, and these guys are coming in and, like, working outside of that. The most rule-breaking thing she can do is peek for free, giving intel, peek with an A. P-E-E-K, get people. P-E-E-K.
Yeah.
Or P-I-Q-U-E if you want to be funny. Giving intel to their team before you either needed a breakable camera that the attackers could destroy, or you actually had to risk peeking, again with an A, to see where the attackers are. I know she's not unkillable, but the way she is now, she takes a lot of coordination to take down. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's this whole, like, he says she's not unkillable.
Right.
But there's so many people that do say, like, she's almost unkillable, and she's not. Like,
she's definitely
She is not unkillable. She's not that hard to fight if you have two of you, honestly. You just can't take her head on alone. Which is why she breaks the game, because she does make a certain way, like, you don't go that way alone anymore.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, like, when you're roaming, you're not necessarily, like, she can kind of pin you down and, like, force you to retreat. And, like, that's kind of new.
Yeah.
If you're roaming, you're on defense. What am I talking about?
Yeah, I know you might. If you're just kind of going on your own.
Right, yeah. Like if you come in, like, yeah, when you come in from the side and she's, like, at that doorway, it's like, oh, well, there she is. So yeah, I think so far his analysis is good. Like, he hasn't really given his opinion yet. I think what he's saying about the facts of how they work, I think that's true. Now, he says, I do think both these ops are way too good. Clash's like slowdown effect, recharges too fast and lasts too long, and Mav really shouldn't be silent. But I was never under the impression that they were deliberately made overpowered to try and sell them early. He brings up Hearthstone as an example of what that feels like. I just think Ubi were trying something different, and I respect them for that. I hope Ubi learn from ops like Mav and Clash, and Lion and Finka to rebalance abilities like it in the future. I think this is actually a pretty good take on Maverick and Clash. Like, I actually agree with him that like Maverick should make a little more noise. He's a little bit too sneaky with what he's able to do. I actually think it should take him a little bit longer to get a hole and like more fuel. Like, I don't think he should be able to make as many holes as he does. Like, maybe even what he should do,
he just needs to make noise. I think, honestly, the problem is he's just so quiet.
Noise is the problem. Like, and I think he should be quiet, but he shouldn't be as quiet as he is. Because like we said, like, there have been times where you've been looking right at him and have not noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so we talked about this a little bit before of, like, different things we would do to fix that. But, like, I think one thing he should do is, like, the first, like, maybe, like, it takes time for the torch to, like, really heat up enough to start melting. And then once it's heated up, then like you can do a continuous hole, if that makes sense. Or like, or like, I mean, you don't have to like come up with a physical reason for it, but like basically like to do the first part of the hole takes more fuel than like to continue the hole.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because like, I don't want him to not be able to like make big enough holes for people to walk through anymore because they increase how much fuel it takes to do it.
That takes time for it to warm up, basically.
Right. Yeah. I also think that he shouldn't be able to like go around all four sides of an objective and put like little peaky holes all around everywhere, right? Like, I think it'd be cool if it takes a little bit longer to get the first hole, and then you can continue that hole with the fuel that it currently uses.
Yeah.
Is that
Yes, I think that's fair.
Good?
Yes.
So I agree with him there. I think Maverick's a little bit too quiet, and he needs a little bit of work, but not like something crazy. And then what do you say about Clash? Her slowdown recharges too fast and lasts too long.
I can see that kind of being a thing. It is. She can be with she. What am I trying to say? If you're trying to take Clash 1-on-1, theoretically, if you're both 1-on-1, you should be able to beat Clash.
Yeah,
because she has.
If you understand how she works, you should beat her.
Yeah. The problem is she can hold you for so long without a teammate coming to her that if you see her and there's someone else on the other team, you can't stay there because you know someone's going to come eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the problem with her. She can just hold someone alone for so long that anyone can come and help her eventually.
Right.
So I kind of agree with him. Her recharge time is too fast, and she can do it for a little too long.
Do you think the cooldown should be shorter or longer, or do you think it should take take less time to get to the cooldown?
I think it should take less time to get to the cooldown. I think that's right. I think the slowing effect as well should last a little less, because after you get slowed, it's like a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that should be less, and I think by the time she finishes getting you, there should be like at least 2.5-3 seconds where you can charge her at full sprint just fine before she can recharge her shield and start getting you again. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think if you can do that, then doesn't she just become useless, like super easy to kill?
Well, no, because you can still slow people down.
Okay.
Because you're not supposed to be alone with her in the first place. Like, if you're alone as Clash, you've screwed yourself.
Yeah, like I think if you see a Clash and you just push her, like you're kind of dumb.
Well, yeah, and the other way too. If you're Clash and you're alone, you're also dumb. You don't have a gun.
Yeah.
It should be kind of like Montaigne. You don't go alone as Montaigne.
Right.
You have
Well,
to have a
I think
gun.
one of the problems right now with Clash is that it is so fast to take her gun out. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's too easy to do like the little turn trick where you like pull your gun out and like put the shield on your back, and like it's too easy just like to duck behind a wall for a second and pull your gun out and pop out and kill somebody. Like I think that process needs to be a little bit longer.
Agreed.
I don't know if I would change her shock that much, because like on her own, it's not really dangerous, right? And also like if it is a 1-on-1 versus a Clash, you can just keep walking toward her through the shock until you get close enough to melee, and there's really nothing she can do about it.
Sure.
Right? Like I think that works fine. You just have to be smart enough to handle it. But I mean, we have just the other day we took a 2v5 with you as Clash and me as Legion, because they came at us one at a time.
One by one.
Yeah. So like we 2v5 like came back, and like we shouldn't have. We should have lost that round.
For sure.
But it was because they played it bad. It wasn't because Clash is OP. It's because like they just came one at a time. And so it's like you shocked him, I shot him, and then you see another one. You shocked him, I went around and flanked behind, and I killed him. And it's like, just don't do that. Don't be stupid. Like when you play against a blitz, you don't just run into him, right? Like you work with your team, you put down traps, like you do things to counter what he's doing to you.
Agreed.
So like the Clash, I feel like even more than Maverick, I think she's kind of okay.
Yeah, I just think we need time to mess around and see what happens.
Again, I would say that the switching weapons, I think, does need to be nerfed a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a few other comments I wanted to call out from this post. So Sly41, he said, what about Mav being able to burn Maestro's cams like they're made out of paper? He's got no counter right now. You can't even place a Maestro cam to annoy him while he's making holes. Mav will just laugh and torch it while barely using any fuel. I think that's fair too. Like Maestro's cams, the whole point is that like they're pretty hard to destroy. And like, even with that being the point, there's still a lot of like very heavily picked operators that can destroy them like very simply, like Sledge and Ash. Sophia's not picked as much, but she can too. And then like you have to be careful where you place it because if they can get a breach charge too close, that'll kill it. Yeah. Anybody with a frag grenade can kill it. And then also you can just shoot it if they catch you when you're trying to shoot them. So like I feel like him being able to just like very, very quickly with the torch destroy Mav or Evil Eyes, I don't think that's fair.
Especially because literally it's just like a one click. Like,
yeah, like it should take a whole canister. I'd be fine if it could do it, but it should take like a whole canister.
Yeah. He should at least have to take like 20, 25 damage if he's going to walk up to it and torch it.
Well, if you open the shutter, then he would just torch it and kill it immediately. Yeah. But yeah, like I think it should, because like, I mean, even like when Ash is doing it, it takes her a while to pull out her thing, shoot the thing, and then it takes some time for it to blow up.
50% of her gadget.
And 50% of her gadget's gone, and that's actually a really good gadget. And so like usually when Ash is doing that to me, I see her pulling that out, and I start opening up and I start shooting at her because I can at least get like 20 to 30 damage in before that thing explodes on me.
Yeah.
So, but like with Maverick, Maverick, he just walks up and that's done. Like, bye-bye. It's fun. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Even with Sledge, like, it takes Sledge a while to swing that hammer. And like for him, it's like nothing, right? He can swing the hammer as many times as he wants, but...
He has 25 times his
25.
limit.
I mean, that's essentially unlimited.
Yeah,
so like,
it's a lot.
But I think that's fine because Sledge's hammer is such a basic gadget. Like, it doesn't really do much else.
It's not like a huge... Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, I don't think Maverick should be able to do that. Two Dads says, yes, operators have been breaking the rules of the game since release. It's a design choice. Actually, let me read another one first and then we'll come back to his. This guy, I guess, Sodium, NACL something. He says, I once saw a post that pointed out that if Jaeger would have been introduced as a DLC op, he would be considered OP. What do you think about that? If Jaeger were not in the original and he was released as a DLC op today, would people think he's OP?
Yeah, I could see. Yeah,
I think so. I think people would think he's super OP.
That there was something else I was thinking about the other day. I said a very similar comment. Like if this had been red dot sights. So you know how like in the patch there's a bug apparently where the red dot sight has more visibility.
Uh-huh.
And I was talking about red dot sights like if they had put actual red dot sights in the game like that have tons of visibility and had them all like that, people would love them. And if they tried to introduce one that had less, people would talk about how stupid it is.
Yeah.
But at this point, if you try to say like, oh, we should have them have more visibility, everybody's like, oh, that's awful. All the sights are perfectly balanced right now. That's not good for Siege.
Right.
Like, well,
I know, yeah. Sometimes it's just like it's good this way because that's the way it is. Like that's kind of like whether people are thinking that way or not. That's kind of like how your mind works.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I think if Jaeger were introduced today, that would be so OP. People would think because like nobody has ever been able to like stop you from throwing or throwing grenades in, you know, and like all of a sudden Fuse is useless now. Like, can you imagine how high powered Fuse would have been this whole time if there was no ADSs? Like, especially in lower ranks where people aren't like hearing that trigger and stuff. Like, and then if you introduce Jaeger, people will be like, you just killed Fuse. Fuse is useless now.
Yeah.
I mean, and maybe Fuse would have been nerfed several times more before that, but do you remember when Fuse only had 2 cluster charges?
Oh yeah,
like that's
insane.
Nuts. And they did fewer grenades, I think, and like with less spread.
Yeah, it was nuts.
He's gotten way better. Like that was insane when they introduced the third one.
I still think he just needs to be quieter.
I think Fuse is fine.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's fine.
I thought we were just talking about this like 3 or 4 episodes ago, where we said he needs to be quieter.
I don't think I said that.
Really?
Maybe.
Well, I remember saying this.
I don't remember saying this.
I think he needs to be quieter. I think he's too loud.
I think he's good because I think that gadget is so high powered that like
he's just not like
you can get 3 or 4 kills with that thing if you do it right.
Yeah,
and one
if they're not paying attention,
right?
But
I mean, obviously,
ranks,
like
he's not
Yeah, in higher ranks, you're not going to have 3 people in one room, so that's different.
That and they hear it and they
But again,
leave.
like not everything can be balanced to work at the high ranks. It doesn't work that way. But yeah, like I super agree. Like Jaeger would be considered super OP, and then somebody else says same with Thatcher. In my opinion, if he was announced now, people will be outraged by the fact that a single op can just throw a grenade and destroy their entire team setup through a wall.
Yeah.
Like can you imagine?
Yeah.
If like you had your whole thing set up like all pretty, like we know they're gonna come through this garage, so let's put all our traps there, and this is how we always do it. And then all of a sudden, there's this operator who's like, oh well, you just push a button and all that stuff's gone, and it's completely safe.
It would be considered extremely
People
OP.
think it's so OP. So like just looking at those examples, it's like, okay, yeah, like guys, again, let's just take a minute to let the meta settle, right? Like people are going to
take like a few weeks,
ways,
more than a minute.
Well, the colloquial minute.
Oh, okay.
So going back to that other post, the guy said, yeah, operators have been breaking the rules of the game since it's a design choice. There's this operator called Mira, and she lets you see attackers from behind solid cover, which wasn't possible before her introduction. So, like, same point. There's also this operator named Capital who can burn you out of a position without any assistance and has no counter, which wasn't possible before his introduction.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, that's the whole design of the game, is that these new operators come out and they break how the game works.
Yeah, they force you to learn new meta.
Right. And for the most part, I think it's been good. Like, I mean, there's been Lion who it's like, okay, what the heck are you doing introducing wall hacks into the game? Like, you are so dumb.
Yeah.
That's one that, like, I really do feel like was ill-advised. Most of the other ones, I think, have been fine.
Just shouldn't have been in the game.
Yeah. And then just the one last thing I wanted to bring up on that. Pie Guy, who actually, we used one of his posts before. I don't remember what it was. I remember him. But I remember the name, Pie Guy. So thanks for that other post, but I'm going to argue with you on this comment. He said, literally any op that changes the game in any way is considered OP. I challenge anyone in this thread to point to an op that wasn't considered OP on release. I would also like to identify the few operators who actually were OP, and he says Blackbeard, LF Frost, and maybe Lion. So, okay, every time I see this point come up, I think it's kind of dumb. So his point, just to kind of break it down a little more simply, is everybody always says the ops are OP, so you're wrong about saying these ops are OP. Right? That's kind of what he's getting at. But the thing is, if you go back and look at the history of all the DLC ops who have been introduced, most of them have been nerfed. So Ubisoft has at least agreed with the community that yes, they were OP.
Yeah.
Right? So like, it's like, I don't like people trying to invalidate the argument because people always say that about the new ops. Like, again, I'm kind of on both sides of this because I think like, yeah, we should just let the meta settle before we complain about them being OP. But on the other side, here's the list of all the DLC ops who have been nerfed since they came out. Frost, Valkyrie, Blackbeard, Capital, Caveira, Hibana, Ella, Zofia, Vigil, Finka, Lion, Maverick, and Clash nerfs incoming. Right? Yeah. So it's like almost every DLC operator has been nerfed. So they all have been OP. So like,
yeah.
Or at least Ubisoft thought so, right?
And there are like a large number that haven't been, like Mira, Legion, Echo got a buff.
Right. And actually, even some of these I lifted, like it's kind of arguable, like Visual and Caveira, it's arguable whether those were really nerfs or just changes, but like because of what happened. But yeah, like you look at this list, that's the majority of the DLC operators have been nerfed. So it's not like unfounded to complain that a new operator is OP.
Yes, I agreed.
So anyway, I actually have that comment saved, and I'm just going to post that every single time somebody says that. Like, no. Here's the list of all the operators who have been nerfed. So calm down. Anyway, okay. Well, that's our Reddit posts for the podcast. If you see a post on Reddit that you want us to talk about, go ahead and tag us. I am RD Fiasco.
And I am Just Hello with 3 O's.
Just Hello, 3 O's. Anything else you want to bring up before we close out this? I feel like this is a long one.
No, I want to play Siege.
Okay, let's go play some Siege. Please give us some feedback on the operator spotlight segment. If you liked it, if there's anything you'd change about it, if you just not want to hear it ever again, like that's fine. It's just something new we're trying out, just to kind of have something to talk about when it's a little bit of a slow week. And again, if you have any questions for the podcast, at R6 Unrenowned, we are going to go play some Siege. We'll be streaming. You can follow me. I'm VG Fiasco on Twitch and YouTube.
And I am Just Hello. I am streaming right now just on YouTube Gaming. I'm just trying to see how it goes. I felt like before when I streamed specifically on YouTube Gaming, I had more people watching.
Yeah, so he used to do the multi-stream. Now he's going solo. So he'll
So
be
we're
on
gonna see
YouTube
how
for
it
now. He might switch to Twitch later. Is that your plan?
Yeah, like a
depending,
month or
just
so to
kind
see
of
how it
test
works.
them both out.
Yeah.
So just hello, 3 O's. Please leave us a review if you like the podcast and share it with your friends. We want to make this thing a big thing. Also, we're going to have a pretty big announcement for our podcast listening community. So next episode, look forward to that. All right. See you guys next time.